Once upon a time, there was a mother duck. She had made her nest in a very quiet place by the river. Her nest was made of grass, feathers, and leaves. It was safe and warm. Tall reeds hid the nest from other animals. Mother duck was very happy. She had 5 eggs in her nest. 4 of the eggs were blue and 1 was white. The white egg was bigger than the others. Mother duck sat on them. She was waiting for them to hatch. Soon the eggs began to hatch. One by one, the eggs began to crack. Soon there were 4 little ducklings sitting in the nest. The white egg was the last egg to crack. The 4 little ducklings were shocked when they saw their new brother. He was so big. The 4 little ducklings had soft yellow feathers and pretty yellow beaks. He had brown feathers and a large black beak. His voice was not the same. The little ducklings cried, "Peep, peep," and he answered, "Honk, honk." He was different. Mother duck went out to find food. The little ducklings ate their food and fell asleep, but the big duckling was always hungry. Mother duck shouted at him and said that he was too greedy. Every day, Mother duck took the ducklings on the river for paddling lessons. When the other ducks saw him paddling with the little yellow ducklings, they laughed. They shouted out cruel words. Some quacked that he was fat. Some quacked that he was stupid. Some quacked that he was ugly. The duckling looked at his face in the water. "I am ugly," he whispered to himself. "They are right. I am the ugly duckling, and I am so sad. Nobody loves me because I am different." A large tear rolled down his cheeks and dripped from his black beak. That night, the ugly duckling left the nest and ran away to look for a place where he belonged. He met some other birds, but nobody wanted to be friends with such a strange duckling. An old woman found the duckling as he waddled through a field. The woman lifted him up and took him to her house. She put him in a cage filled with straw. She was very kind. She fed him with corn. His tummy became round and fat. One day, a sparrow sat on the cage and began to chatter. The sparrow told the duckling that the woman was making him fat because she was going to eat him at the feast. That night, the duckling opened the door of the cage and escaped. It was dark, so he hid in some reeds. He woke up when he heard a strange sound. Some beautiful white birds flew above him. Their long necks were like arrows. They called out, "Honk, honk." They were so lucky. He wished that he was with them. Winter was coming, and the little duckling did not know what to do. He was changing. His brown feathers were turning white. His neck was growing longer. There was some yellow in his black beak. He was so cold and so sad. He put his head under his wing and fell asleep. "Who's this big boy?" The duckling woke up at the sound. A friendly farmer was looking at him. "I will take you to my barn. If you stay here, you will freeze," he said. He put the duckling under his arm and walked over the fields to the barn. The barn was warm and dry. There were 6 hens, 2 ducks, and a donkey in the barn. They were very nice. They shared their food with the duckling and helped him to make a bed. They asked the duckling his name. He told them that all the other animals call him Ugly Duckling. They laughed. "We will call you Sam," they said. At last, he was happy. The days passed quickly and Sam grew taller. His feathers were snow white. His wings were wide and strong. His feet were black and the color of his beak had turned to orange. On the first warm day of spring, the farmer took Sam to the pond and whispered to him, "Go now, Sam. It is time to meet your family. Fly away, but do not forget your friends in the barn." Something wonderful had happened. Now he really was different. The ugly duckling was now a strong and handsome swan.